I'm not sure I'm going to pass the CompTIA A+. And this is the first time that I ended up saying that out loud, but let's just jump right into it. Currently, I have a section in this CompTIA A+ studying that has just been super difficult. And there are things that I am getting. When I was doing the operating system and doing the hardware system, specifically with hardware, things were a lot more easier. I was starting to understand a lot more, but then I decided to jump to the operating system in Core 2, and I kind of ran into a bump. In the beginning of the operating system, it was great, but then exactly where I'm at, I'm struggling with these 4 concepts that I truly believe could screw me up when it comes to taking the CompTIA A+. And what those 4 concepts are is performance monitor, event monitor, or I probably even said that wrong, event viewer, task manager, and then services, which, you would think you could understand that, but no, here is where my issues are. Is sometimes I didn't even know the task manager was different from the services.msc. So that was already boggling me, because there would be things about services and I'm like, but technically you can enable and disable in services, but then it's like, but you would do that in task manager, or start, stop, restart. But then it would say, oh, but doing a startup of apps would be services. So I'm like, okay, now I'm a little bit confused, started to throw me for a loop. But then I realized that I guess services.msc is technically supposed to be like the advanced version of services. And so if I can just kind of understand what task manager is with the services bar, then maybe it shouldn't be so hard if they ask me a question about that. But then specifically, I think my biggest issue is performance monitor and event viewer, because they both have to deal with logs, is what they like to ask the question by. Because normally when I would hear the word logs, I'm thinking event viewer. But then they would say looking at logs over time, and they'll be like, no, that's performance monitor. But I'm like, technically performance monitor is a bar, so why the hell are we calling that a log? You know what I mean? So it started to confuse me the way they would ask things. And I'm trying to find key little details like over time, and then with event viewer is normally like you're looking for errors. So if they're talking about trying to find an error, or an error log, I'm going to assume that's event viewer. And, it's been working a little bit. When I was taking my practice quizzes, I didn't get that well of a score, but then after doing a little bit of studying, a little bit of work, and actually looking at what performance monitor and event viewer look like, I did do a little bit better. But what I'm noticing is a lot of the time is that I'm kind of guessing, and I'm like, that's not going to be good on the quiz. And it's not like all 25 questions are going to be about this, but it's still a little bit like, you know what I mean? Like it's still a little bit of something. Like I don't know. I do not know. I wouldn't know what to do. And now this is putting a lot of pressure on me, because I was already trying to get this certification, I want to say by April, but I'm really getting slowed down in the section. And a part of me is thinking it's gonna just get harder from here. And I'm like, if I can't just find a difference that I could like see in the wording of a question with performance and event monitor, that's like, I really got to stay put. I can't keep going forward. And I think that's just what really scares me when it does end up coming to the exam. On top of that, the exam is going to have so much topic. So it's like, I don't want to struggle so hard in a specific area when there's so much different topics coming, like networking, security, software, troubleshooting. Got to go hop back to core 1s. I never got core 1, right? Never studied for it yet. Only did a little bit of hardware studying. So it's like, I want it by April, but with this type of struggling, man, I'm starting to think that might not end up happening. And it's just a little bit, very, very scary. And, part of me is just thinking, like, what if I'm doing all this studying for no reason? What if I study for all of this and I just never can understand, like, what the hell is going on specifically here, but then a little bit more later? What if I just never pass this test? What if I do all this studying for months and still fail? And I hate coming to those moments of doubt. It will never, like, stop me, because I'm a very disciplined and, like, consistent person. But that moment of doubt is really, like, it could just mess with you. It could just mess with you. And those thoughts end up hitting harder than like anything, especially when you are just sitting there struggling and trying to study. So it's kind of like, but there's like I feel like this thing, I have to keep reminding myself that at the end of the day, I could do whatever I put my mind to. At the end of the day, struggling is where you honestly learn the most, you know, and I'm trying to just get myself to truly go and believe that struggling doesn't mean that I'm bad at IT or that it's not for me or that I will never be able to figure any of this out. It just means that I'm hitting a little bump in the road and I just got to learn a little bit of something that I don't get. And that's kind of probably the best way to really see things, because there are just so many people who are studying for the CompTIA A+ who are running into these exact struggles. Literally, I'm pretty sure there's probably some people who are here watching this that are like, yes, I ran into this moment before when I was doing the CompTIA A+, or shoot, I'm at this moment right now. And, you know, it's just, it really is something else, because there's so many people studying for the A+ who also understand the basics, who are doing the work, but get stuck when tools end up overlapping. And I think that's the thing. It's like, I get it, but I'm just kind of confused when things are quite similar. So that's where I'm like, you know, but I'm not 100% right now, but I'm still studying, and I know in the end, all of it is going to be worth it. I know in the end, if I just keep pushing, grinding, keep studying, keep doing my thing, it is going to end up being worth it, and that I am going to get my CompTIA A+, but I'm a little bit worried. So maybe Marzi over here just needs a little bit of encouragement on, you know, am I going to be able to do it? I don't know. We're gonna see, and I believe like I'm going to be able to do it, and that's all the confidence that I need. You know what I mean? All the confidence that I need. But, you know, if you're studying for the CompTIA A+ as well, and you are also having these thoughts, definitely let me know down below, man, because I'm just like, am I going to do it? Like, come on. But we gotta just be hella confident. But I'll be catching you on the next one. Hope you guys ended up enjoying this real, raw, honest video where I'm just letting y'all know my worries on what's going on here, and specifically what I'm struggling with. You know, some people, they get embarrassed to say like what is difficult for them, and I know it's not, like, my difficulty isn't that deep, but it's the fact that for like 3 days I've been failing this practice quiz even after I already studied the whole thing, and I'm trying to like really implement it in my head. It's something. I just never ran into something that seems so simple, but when they ask that question a certain way, I'm like, hey, yo, this could be anything. And it's really not. It's me. I'm the problem. But hope you guys ended up enjoying, sorry. Make sure you end up leaving a like, comment, subscribe. Deuces.